This is Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
Just about set to start the third quarter here in Tampa. West Virginia trying to sew up a share of the Big East, leading South Florida 13-7 as we welcome you back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, served by Applebee's. Reese Davis, Craig James, Jesse Palmer, and Jen Brown with you on the ninth. The Mountaineers trying to get a share of the conference title, and they hope take a step closer to a BCS berth. But Geno Smith and the Mountaineers have yet to been able to generate an offensive touchdown. Craig, what do you expect to see in the second half?
I think Geno really kind of had something that he could do with his legs against that defense. The Bulls are going to have to make sure they contain and keep him in the pocket, make him throw the football. But I think both offenses woke up at the end of that second quarter.
Yeah, I expect West Virginia to come here in the second half and start establishing the run on offense. Try and force a lot of those defenders from South Florida closer to the line of scrimmage so they can take advantage of big play action passing opportunities to Stedman Bailey outside on the perimeter, and maybe try and work Tavon Austin on some double moves inside.
And South Florida outgained West Virginia in the first half. South Florida defense had a couple of terrific stands, including one from their own 5-yard line after a blocked punt. Martin Kloss getting set to kick off to start the second half for the Bulls. West Virginia ranked 23rd in the latest incarnation of the BCS standings. 6-point lead, and they'll get it first as we get underway here at Raymond James Stadium. Kloss puts a foot to it. It's headed toward the out-of-bounds line, and the flag will fly, and West Virginia will have excellent field position to start the second half. Let's take a look at our coaching adjustments brought to you by Home Depot.
Well, I think, Jesse, we kind of looked at it and said, look, if the Bulls can continue to limit the explosive plays and keep them in front, they got a chance in this game.
Yeah, the longest play from scrimmage so far from West Virginia has been a 20-yard scramble by Geno Smith. It's the speed on defense from USF that is really limiting West Virginia and what they're trying to do on offense right now.
After the kickoff out of bounds, Holgerson's offense will start on its own 40-yard line. Sean Alston, the bigger running back, getting the start in the second half. He's lined up with Geno Smith. B.J. Daniels has a bruised AC joint. We'll see them working on B.J., who appeared to throw it very well in the first half. Alston setting up for the short pass, but instead, Geno goes down the middle to Tavon Austin for a good pickup on first down as we check in with Jen Brown.
Reese, well, I caught up with Dana Holgerson out of the half and asked him how he could create more explosive plays downfield. He said, Jen, it's all about blocking, and that's something that we've been poor at all season long. We need to finish blocks. We also need to get going a lot faster. We're better when we play up tempo. He said, though, look, we're a team that's used to playing from behind. We're a better second half team.
2 plays, 2 completions, though. A lot of flags coming in to the holding area. Holding. Number 55. That's Tyler Rader, senior right guard from Cross Lanes, West Virginia, for the hold. That'll slow down your tempo, too.
Well, we've talked about this offensive line. They've been very poor here in recent weeks. They've given up 9 sacks in their last 2 games. One reason why they've gotten really worn down. The first 11 games of the season, they were only playing 6 different bodies up front. Here we are late in the regular season, and that wear and tear starting to show. Harder to sustain blocks when you're tired.
On 1st and 20. Smith, Austin. Austin explodes past the defender. He picks up the first down. Tavon still on his feet, and he gets to the 30-yard line just outside of it of South Florida. A huge pickup on the short pass, pickup at 30.
Look at the 6-man front, and they come with 5 and drop out, and that puts a lot of pressure on open space tackling. That's a risky dial-up defensively. They didn't get to the quarterback in time.
Dana Holgerson going back to tempo.
Smith right down the middle. Brown's wide open. Brown finally tackled. The ball comes loose. At the end, the beanbag came out. And South Florida believes they have it. Michael Linares does. Another big play for the South Florida defense. Sam Barrington is the man who ripped it away from Devon Brown.
Brown is fighting for extra yards. He does not go down right here, still on top of the player, and the ball is stripped out. You've got to know as a receiver, when your journey is over, get down. Those extra fought yards lots of times cost you.
The South Florida defense prides itself on playing physical. You see good fundamentals here. They know the tackle is secured, so then you start going for the football and try and rip it out. That's now the 14th fumble recovery on the season for South Florida. They only had 5 all of last year.
Turnover, thwarting the West Virginia drive. Short gain by Darrell Scott as a little extracurricular between Terrence Garvin and Andreas Shields.
Yeah, the Bulls defense, remember their motto, swarm and punish. When you have that many green jerseys around a football, you can do those things, and that's done an excellent job of Mark Snyder's defense getting there. The defense says, we believe in our coach and that he's going to get us lined up and put us in a position to make plays. If we'll get to the ball, big plays will happen.
Daniels firing. He's got a man, and the catch is made. West Virginia wanting the ruling to be out of bounds, but Deontay Welch made the grab, and they're moving the chains.
If you're worried about that AC joint injury, worry no more. This is an NFL-type throw here. On the run, small window, downfield to the freshman Deontay Welch. B.J. Daniels, he's starting to feel it now over the last couple series. That confidence picking up.
B.J. continuing to raise his game. A pickup at 22.
Ruling on the field of a completed pass is under review.
And it really goes back, Jesse, to the second quarter. The last 4 or 5 throws that they had. Evan Landy had the drop, and then Landy had the great catch with 3 people around him. Since that point in time, the touchdown pass to Sterling Griffin, I mean, he's just starting mentally to get more in the game.
Taking a look at this play again. Looks like Welch able to catch it. Looks like he gets 2 hands down. The question is, does he have possession of football all the way through the catch to the ground? You need indisputable video evidence to overturn this call. It was ruled a catch. It looked like a catch to me. Reese, what do you think?
That one was a catch, although I'm a little gun-shy. Craig had a conversation with the replay official at halftime, and I still wasn't satisfied with the answer. It was a touchdown in the first half. It did not appear to me that Sterling Griffin completed the catch as he went to the ground. This one, it appears that Welch did.
Ruling on the field stands. First down.
And catch this time by Welch, who, along with Davis, you were mentioning the drops, both had crucial drops in the first half, but it's a 22-yard pickup, and Skip Holtz's team on the move.
I like the fact that the replay officials got in and out with a quick decision to allow the momentum of this game to continue on.
Greg, as you mentioned, BJ has been hot. He's hit 9 of his last 11 since that pick 6. Daniels. Miscommunication. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I think B.J. Daniels is one of the most improved players in college football this year. Not just physically, but also as a leader, as he takes a big shot here on this last play, taking another look. Hard play action sell, 5 steps in the pocket.
It was Doug Rigg. They put the shot on him.
But Craig, in years past, 2 years ago, we saw B.J. Daniels yelling at wide receivers late in the game in a loss against Cincinnati, standing by himself on the field after a loss against Rutgers.
But guys, they just called intentional grounding on Daniels. What looked like a miscommunication, the officials ruled was a throwaway, and B.J. was not outside the tackle box.
That's the right call.
Yeah, it's the right call. And a borderline roughing the passer call, too. It went about a half a step away from should have pulled up on this thing.
I think he expected that slot receiver running to the corner on a smash concept.
2nd and 18. Darrell Scott's going to get it all back. The big fella rumbling up close to midfield. First down for the Bulls.
West Virginia gets caught on the inside looking. 5. Watch the inside. Look at all of this in here. They're just trapped on the inside. Bad execution on the West Virginia defense of not maintaining their responsibility.
Daniels pump fake, and he runs it. He gets the first down and slides down inside the 35.
We're talking about B.J. Daniels developing as a leader, and let's go back to that pick six he threw. What did he do, Craig? He had mentioned, went right to the sidelines, picked up a football, started warming up, kept his head in the game. Getting the crowd involved now. He's a much different player this year, one of the most improved in the entire country, and he's got South Florida knocking on the door.
We need your help. We need money for research. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love.
Can you help us beat cancer? The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. Log on to www.jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to donate. You know, so many of us and you at home have been touched by cancer, and there is Todd Fitch, the offensive coordinator for South Florida. He is an 8-year survivor of cancer. He was diagnosed with testicular cancer when he was an assistant coach at Iowa State. He's been able to defeat the disease and is cancer-free. Certainly an inspiration to so many who have to face the disease. Hand the ball to Darryl Scott. No pickup there as we check in for more on Todd Fitch with Jen Brown.
Maurice, I spoke to Todd before the game, and he said having cancer obviously put his life in perspective. But each year when the Jimmy V week comes around and he hears Jimmy V's speech that he gave, he said it really just puts his life in perspective and makes him think back to what he went through and how grateful he is to obviously have all of the opportunities that he's got and just really beating cancer. But he says, you know, Jimmy V's done a great job, the foundation and all the awareness and athletics, and he said he's just so proud of it, and it really just means a lot to him as this week comes around.
And certainly Todd has been an inspiration as he looks at his running back Darryl Scott, who's had a terrific night tonight, up close to 100 yards, and they are attending to Darryl on the field. He had the last carry and hasn't been able to get up.
Yeah, this is a West Virginia defense again, stacking the line on first down. They've done that all night. Just like a misstep from behind, like he kicked himself maybe from.
It's a tremendous story for Darryl Scott this season when you consider a transfer from Colorado. You know, question whether or not he'd lost the love for the game. And he redshirted, came to USF last year, sat the season out and worked his tail off because he felt like he had something to prove after he came out of high school, the #1 running back prospect in the nation, having a major impact in this game tonight. You just hope he's okay.
He seems to be walking okay, but that right arm is not moving.
Yeah.
See if maybe.
So often, man, it's the plays that don't look like anything really happens when you come out of there and you've got a banged up body.
And Demetrius Murray, the junior from Beaufort, Georgia, checks in. In Scott's spot. B.J. Daniels throwing for Sterling Griffin, and Griffin is out of bounds, being covered by Keith Tandy, but there was a flag that was thrown. And B.J. Daniels wants interference. Griffin came from out of bounds, which is not legal either. Let's see which way they call it.
Defense. Number 8. The ball be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Interference called on Keith Tandy on the play.
And right away, Demetrius Murray has to pick up a linebacker coming in on pass protection.
Keith Tandy's a guy that USF has tried to take advantage of in the past. In this stadium 2 years ago, gave up a 49-yard completion, also gave up a 69-yard completion. B.J. Daniels testing in the second half.
So first down just outside the 20. Both sides pointing at each other. West Virginia certainly jumped, but I also saw Mark Popek move.
Oh, there we go. Offside. Defense. Number 98 making contact with an offensive lineman. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Reese, that's a great shot right there of Dana Holgerson. I think that's symbolic of this football team. He never panics. You know, and this is a guy that has now had to learn to pay attention to defense. He used to care about offense only.
Give to Murray on 1st and 5. Picks up a couple. If helping him pay attention to that defense. He's got one of the better defensive coordinators in college football in Jeff Castile. And Castile, a little bit of a rebuilding job this year. The defensive line not quite the size that he's accustomed to at West Virginia. And backs up against the wall right now, 2nd and 3 as South Florida's driving, trying to take the lead.
They got a bump and run up top. Good area for a corner throw to the slot.
Daniels looking to the right instead. Pass is incomplete.
This would be huge right now for USF's offense if they could convert this 3rd down, stay on the field, score a touchdown, and take the lead for the first time tonight here playing at home.
And Evan Landy's over on the left side. We saw Landy make a really nice catch late in the 2nd quarter that set up a Griffin touchdown. He's the middle receiver to the left side of the field.
South Florida 4 of 10 on 3rd down tonight. They need 3.
This is where BJ can run it.
Firing on the slant into traffic and almost intercepted by Broderick Jenkins. It'll be 4th down and 3. Deontay Welch was the intended receiver.
Yeah, the freshman Welch has to continue driving hard to the inside. Quarterback's counting on him. See him hold up right there? That ball is in between a narrow window. That receiver's got to stay on his course.
Again, the youth right now at wide receiver for USF hurting them with costly drops. We've seen a couple so far tonight.
Maikon Bonani from 32 yards out. He's made his last 5 field goal attempts. Bonani puts it through, and South Florida, after causing the turnover on its own 3-yard line, they drive down and kick a field goal, make it 13-10, just when it looked as if West Virginia about to take control. The Bulls wrestled it away, and they're within 3.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com/smarterplanet. And Farmers Insurance. Visit farmers.com to find an agent. We are insurance. We are farmers.
Stogie Castillo has been hand-rolling cigars in Ybor City and Tampa since 2005. Specialized in premium blended cigars hand-rolled by expert Cuban rollers. Nice. Celebratory Stogie will be in order either for West Virginia or South Florida tonight. Mountaineers trying to get a share of the Big East crown. South Florida trying to become bowl eligible. Go to the postseason for a 7th straight time. After the field goal, it's a 3-point game. Tavon Austin on the return. Austin turns the corner. Looking for a lane. Tavon Austin is gone. "90 yards on the kickoff return for a touchdown, his 2nd kickoff return for a score this season.
And the 2nd non-offensive touchdown for West Virginia tonight.
It all starts with the kicker slipping and doesn't get the trajectory that he was looking for on that. And that's back-to-back 4 kickoffs. And, you know, just special teams, every phase of this game. And when you're going to get someone like Tavon Austin, who, look at the ability. He splits it, gets to the outside, fakes him back in, and then gets back to the edge.
You see that block by number 34, Ismail Banks. That allowed Austin to be able to continue to dance down that sideline. He took it one side of the field to the other, and the Bulls lost contain.
It was well set up by Tavon Austin, driving upfield initially to buy some blockers time to set that edge on the outside. There's a reason Tavon Austin is 2nd in the nation in all-purpose yards. Multifaceted, multidimensional. Showing you there on that long kickoff return touchdown, pulling momentum back now for a team trying to vie for a share of the Big East Championship and an opportunity to play in a BCS bowl game.
But I think this really is going to do one of 2 things. Either put a wet blanket on the Bulls, or they're going to rear their heads up and they're going to say, okay, let's go get after this. Let's compete. We're trying to get a bowl game. We got to win for our football team and our seniors. They talked about that yesterday.
What I liked about Skip Holtz, right after that touchdown, you saw him pat Bonani on the head. Hey, that's okay. Let's start preparing here for the next drive, the most important drive. Stay in this football game.
South Florida's had so many close ones this year. They've lost 6, 4 of them determined by 1 possession. Only the Pittsburgh game was decided early. Louisville beat them by 10 in their last game the day after Thanksgiving, and Bulls have spent much of the season with their backs against the wall. See if they can get an offensive drive tonight and see what kind of momentum West Virginia takes from that kickoff return. Marcus Shaw, it's out to the 35-yard line.
Special
football axiom, you got to be sound in the kicking game, guys.
Special teams so critical to a team's success, and it's been a nightmare so far for USF. Block punt early in the game, allowed a field goal, almost had another punt block later in the game. Opening kickoff of second half, they kick it out of bounds and give West Virginia tremendous field possession, culminating in this final kickoff return allowed for a score.
The average starting field position for both these teams, West Virginia's been 37. For South Florida, they're 22. Special teams, a direct result.
Demetrius Murray on first down loses 1.
Tavon Austin may be cramping up after that run, trying to get some fluids in him, needing some help standing up here.
Yeah, you know what? For the Bulls, though, B.J. Daniels has heated up for the last full quarter of play. They can get back in this game. Just go down the field and get you some points.
Daniels fires it through the hands of Evan Landy, and a late flag comes in. Maybe on Terrence Garvin. A couple of penalties on the last drive go against the Mountaineers that were costly. Garvin, the junior from Baltimore.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 24. The ball be played through the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
It's not Garvin, but Ian Smith they got for the pass interference.
Yeah, he did touch him.
That's not Ian
I think
Smith.
they got the wrong number.
That's not Ian Smith.
Yeah, Ian Smith is there in the back. He wasn't close to anybody. They said 24 meant 28. At any rate, it was on West Virginia. And it's a 1st and 10 for the Bulls. Demetrius Murray stumbled as he took the handoff, but able to power ahead for maybe 2. As we check in with Jen Brown.
Well, Reese, you guys said that USF needs to get something going here. They may have to do it without running back Darrell Scott. We saw him go down in that last offensive series. He did injure his right shoulder. He was checked out by the athletic trainers. They told me he's questionable, but they've got ice on that shoulder. He's been wincing in pain. I'd be really surprised if he goes back in the game anytime soon.
So without Scott on 2nd and 8, B.J. Daniels on the roll. B.J.'s going to run it. B.J. protecting his own injured shoulder, slides down. And looks as if they're going to mark him just a little bit short of the first down. He needs to get to the 45 of West Virginia.
But he gave himself a chance here on 3rd down, and the smart play too. Protect himself. Let someone else get that hard 1 yard for the first down.
This entire game, throws by B.J. Daniels have been contested by this West Virginia defense. Not a lot of wide open guys. These receivers are going to have to step up here in the second half, make some tough catches.
And the straight tee, it almost looks like behind B.J. Daniels. You don't see that often. Marcus Shaw. And Marcus stretched the football late. And flags are all over the place. Saw Andreas Shields mixing it up a little bit with Cook, Darwin Cook.
Like the old wishbone from the Oklahoma Sooner days.
Chop block. Offense, number 86. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
See if we can find the chop block on Mike McFarland. And still down is Jared Barber for the Mountaineers.
I think, though, the direction where the flag came from is on the backside, the left side of that play, the top of your screen, which we could not see right there.
Yeah, there was no flag for that mix-up between Shields and Cook. And you see McFarland walking back toward you now just in front of B.J. Daniels. That's who they called the chop block on. Tough to see from that vantage point. Barber still being attended to on the field. So the situation now, instead of the 3rd and 1, the chop block penalty, It's turned into 3rd and 16.
And again, penalties hurting USF in this game, but they've been hurting them all season long, averaging 7 penalties a game coming into tonight. Again, when you're a young team without a lot of senior leadership, there are only 9 seniors on the entire 2-deep for USF. The margin of error is extremely small, and in critical down and distances throughout games, you have to have smart play, and that's another reason why South Florida has fallen short in close contests this year, why they've lost 4 conference games by a possession or less.
We were talking about this in the meeting yesterday. All the games that we all do here, if you don't have an explosive player on offense for 3rd down, or a guy on defense who can stop the 3rd down play, and lots of seniors playing in the game and for your program, you're going to have a hard time winning. And those seniors mean more than anything else because they're the ones who control the locker room. They're the ones who motivate and really have a passion that goes down to the freshmen and the sophomores to make them get it done Tuesday through Thursday.
And it's good to see Barber, the freshman, in Mocksville, North Carolina, walking very gingerly on that leg, but on his feet. Walking off under his own power. Let's take another look and see if we can find that chop wide. Now here it comes, right there. McFarland takes a shot at Will Clark, 98, when he was already engaged with Mark Popek. A lot of times you'll hear people refer to cut blocks, which are blocks below the waist, as chop blocks. Cut blocks are legal, chop blocks are not. If a player is engaged up high, you can't block. A second player can't come in and block him low. It was an excellent call by the officials.
Yeah, I think they were expecting there at the tight end for Popek to come off into another guy, and then he was going to cut the defensive end.
So on 3rd and 16, they'll go to the screen. It's Welch trying to pick his way, and he'll be well short of the 1st down. Stopped at about his own 48. Now comes the adventure, South Florida.
No doubt.
The punt.
You know what, though, Reese, at the middle of the field here, this football team needs to have a solid punt to pin them back so the defense has a little bit of an advantage when they come out against this Mountaineer offense.
And they should have an advantage because West Virginia hasn't found any explosive plays tonight. They forced them to drive the field just to score.
Rockhouse Khan. That's a nice punt. Brown takes the fair catch signal, and South Florida can't get there in time to down it. And West Virginia will have it on their 20-yard line after the 52-yard punt. Get ready for bowl season with the ESPN Bowl Bound app. It features video, news, analysis, latest BCS standings, weekly projections. ESPN's Bowl Bound app. It's free on iPhone and Android. All you have to do, text BOWL to 43776 to download. Very useful app that I'm sure the Mountaineer on his phone, which is tucked beneath that coonskin cap somewhere, I'm sure. 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers from their own 20, holding a 20-10 lead. Geno Smith buying a little time, and now Geno's going to toss it away. Back there applying the pressure was Patrick Hampton.
Been really impressed with South Florida's defense tonight. They've had a mantra all season long. Make the opposing offense snap it again. They do not want to give up explosive plays. They want to force West Virginia to drive at least 10 plays to score points. West Virginia, they haven't registered a touchdown yet tonight.
1 touchdown on defense, 1 on a kickoff return, and to that end, South Florida came into the game leading the nation, holding opponents to only 5 20-yard rushes all season. Geno Smith did have a 20-yard rush earlier in the game. It was a career long for him, and just the 6th the Bulls had allowed this year, as Dustin Garrison has to carry on 2nd down and bring up 3rd down and about 3.
So the secret weapon for all offenses in college football when you're not doing well is if you have a quarterback who can run, take off. And that really takes an edge away from that defense. And Geno Smith has the ability. We saw him in the 2nd quarter, one time take off and run and hurt the defense.
Watch it, Tavon Austin here in the slot, bottom of the screen.
Mountaineers just 2 of 9 on 3rd down tonight. Blitz coming. Smith took a shot. They're going in to look. Let's see what they're going to call. South Florida believes they forced another turnover. They do. Quentin Washington. Now the question is, did Washington intercept it or cause a fumble? But he went in the tie-up and he took the ball away from Stedman Bailey.
Geno Smith wanted to work inside on an underneath shallow cross to Tavon Austin. The coverage took it away, so he threw it outside to Stedman Bailey. You see the ball just kind of floating. Bailey never had possession of it. It's just kind of laying on his belly. Just a heads-up play there by Quentin Washington. He's made a couple big plays here tonight.
You know, the senior, the ball was just laying on the receiver, and he just wisely took control of it.
Marcus Shaw gets the call, and I'll tell you the other thing South Florida just did that was very smart. They got that ball snapped quickly to keep them from having another look at this.
Self-inflicted wounds have killed West Virginia in this football game. Not just this play right here, and a great heads-up play by Washington. But what about the missed field goal early in the game? What about a false start when they have the football 4th and 1 on the goal line? What about Devin Brown fumbling the football 2 possessions ago inside South Florida territory?
That's a pick, by the way.
It is a
absolutely
good call. But touche, though, Jesse. I mean, USF has had a lot of self-inflicted wounds as well. So, I mean, both teams allowing the other to hang around in this football game.
And B.J. Daniels can't quite get everything lined up the way he wants it. In the 2nd and 9 play, burns a timeout with 5:43 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Well, as we wait and see what South Florida is going to bring us on a 2nd and 9, we also wait to see what the Heisman Trophy will deliver coming up on Saturday, December 10th. The 2 guys that seem to have separated themselves from the field, Trent Richardson of Alabama and Andrew Luck of Stanford. But only Robert Griffin, Monty Ball, other guys have had tremendous seasons, but look at the Heismanology that Joe Tessitore does on our BCS Countdown show every week. It polls all of ESPN's official Heisman voters, and there is separation between Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin.
And I think that Joe Tess was explaining Sunday night on the show that those 2 numbers for Richardson and Luck are both large enough that they're going to be hard to overcome. One of those 2 guys is going to win the Heisman Trophy on those projections.
I think Monty Ball should be in the top 3. In fact, I'm shocked that he's not a lot closer than where he is.
B.J. Daniels running it. B.J. running sideways, and he doesn't get much. It'll be 3rd down and long. Now, that's where the shoulder is obviously bothering B.J. Daniels as he's protecting himself. Ordinarily, we would see him cut that ball upfield and get as much as he could.
Yeah, this guy's run for coming into this game nearly 600 yards, so his ability to run is outstanding, and that's an element that they don't have. But they'll take that away from the game so as long as he can throw it still.
Part of being a good leader is not trying to do too much and not what you're capable of, putting your team at risk with costly turnovers. Looks like man-to-man coverage here and a pressure look from West Virginia.
Daniels throws underneath. Welch trying to stay on his feet and get the first down. He does. What a tremendous play by the freshman Deontay Welch.
Deontay Welch, not the fastest player on this South Florida offense, but he's the best with the football in his hands after the catch. The yak yardage you see here, almost does the splits on the slippery field. He's able to get north. That is a huge first down for South Florida.
Wildcat.
Victor Mark. And it's all fouled up. A false start.
False start. Offense. Number 70. 5-yard penalty.
It's Quintarius Eatman, the freshman from Viger High School in Pritchard, Alabama, called for the false start.
I understand the goal there of the offense. We've got a wildcat. Let's get to the line. Big play. Let's have the momentum. Let's get up there. But sometimes you get too cute and you hurt yourself.
With youth comes inconsistency. And when you have a right tackle, a freshman, those sort of things happen. They just can't happen on critical downs like that, having just converted 3rd down.
Daniel snaps it just before the play clock and throws underneath to Davis. Andre Davis to about the 16-yard line. He'll be about 7 yards short of the first down.
Jesse, you said earlier about how we've watched this guy grow up in front of us here, B.J. Daniels. I mean, like right that rare. I mean, no, here's a guy composed. He picks back up manageable yardage for 2nd down.
He put in tremendous work this past offseason. He's always worked hard since he's been here, but this offseason started bringing other players along with him, out onto the field to run routes, into the film room, taking ownership of this offense.
Daniel misfires. He had Marcus Shaw out there. Shaw would have been close to the first down. Roderick Jenkins coming on the blitz made him get rid of it.
West Virginia defensive coordinator Jeff Castile has now had enough. He's going to start dialing up pressure from the second level. He cannot allow B.J. Daniels right now to take dead end, particularly with their backs to the wall.
Well, so that's this offensive line now has to really pick it up. Chaz Hine, the center, has to get his group in the right call for protection and give Daniels the time to throw and take advantage of that dialed up pressure.
Daniels, throwback. Got his man Landy for the first down at the 5-yard line.
It's a fantastic job of being patient. Look on the right side of the offensive line. Fakes the cut block. Landy then sneaks back across. It's a fantastic job of catching the football.
The key for throwback plays is for the intended receiver to get lost in the mix.
Murray was leaning. Daniels did try to put his foot in the ground to get upfield this time, but he slipped. It'll be second down and goal.
You know why I like that call there? Because it's allowing the left shoulder to drop and run. Running B.J. Daniels to the right allows him to protect that right sore shoulder.
Very impressed with his toughness. We said at the beginning we weren't sure how many times he was going to run the football. He's already toted it now 7 times. He's gutsy. Lots on the line in this game for USF and for B.J. Daniels, trying to get those extra 15 practices in a bowl game.
Daniels throwing the fade. Davis goes up for it, and it's incomplete. Keith Tandy on the coverage.
Yeah, trying to get it to the high point here. B.J. Daniels, he's gotten back into this game now mentally, and this is where you've got to jump, time it as best you can, and the freshman couldn't come up with it.
I think back shoulder throws aren't thrown enough in football, period, at every level. And there are, something you got to work on that takes specific timing. But there's some looks right now in the perimeter of the field. Expect pressure. There's a lot of cushion outside of wide receiver.
Bottom right.
It's Sterling Griffin, the receiver at the bottom right. Daniels looking his way, and I think Tandy's going to get called for interference again. Second time he's been nabbed tonight. Second time in the third quarter.
So all of that coverage at West Virginia on the top of the field, and you had the single coverage with Griffin down to the bottom. That's where the ball had to go. You had to win that matchup.
Interference. Defense. Number 8. The ball be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Not sure if there was some miscommunication between B.J. Daniels here. He's throwing the fade. For some reason, Sterling Griffin took a hard inside release, trying to fight his way back outside. We talked about the toughness of B.J. Daniels. What about Sterling Griffin playing with a sore ankle in this game? He's not 100% either.
Here we go. Bill Tilo. Looks like a wishbone.
Chris Bright in the middle of it. Daniels going to throw out of it, and he fires it over Murray's head. He had him for 6, but he couldn't throw it accurately enough.
So throw B.J. Daniels would want to get back. He did not have his feet set on the throw, hurried it a little bit, was drifting, and that forced the inaccuracy.
That's like the wishbone. I ran that in high school, and that right halfback, it looks like he's lead blocking on the defensive end, and he slides right into the flat. Got to make that throw.
This is a place where they really miss Darrell Scott, not having him on the field, not having that weight in the backfield.
Just about to say the same thing. Murray and Shaw flanking Bright. Shaw will have it, and Shaw will get nothing and like it. Third and goal.
If I'm South Florida now on a crucial third down, spread the field again. I'm not so sure I wouldn't let B.J. Daniels on some sort of perimeter run-pass option or zone read use his athleticism here inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, I think that's the difference maker down here is whether or not B.J. Daniels can run the football in. Now, this West Virginia defense, they have played tight. They just had the pass interference, but their coverage, their secondary has been solid tonight.
There's a little confusion on the personnel groups for South Florida right now. They may have to use a timeout.
No doubt.
The fans here aren't too happy as the Bulls use their second time out of the third quarter. You have to get it right, but at the same time, you want to be a little more organized.
And you know what? They're sitting there thinking just what you mentioned. What do you call? You don't have Darrell Scott. What do? You don't have your runner and your power guy inside the red zone. So you understand there's some conversations taking place before the call goes in.
As they get things sorted out on the sidelines, we'll sort things out in the Big 12 with the Big 12 title on the line in Bedlam. Oklahoma going into Oklahoma State, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Brandon Wheat and Landry Jones each have thrown for more than 4,000 yards this year. It was a great shootout a year ago that the Sooners won 8 straight times. In fact, the last time the Pokes won, the Hat was the head coach for Oklahoma State.
You know, Landry Jones has been very inconsistent here in recent weeks. You wonder how much this offense hurts without Ryan Broyles at wide receiver. He's made some bad decisions. You can't do that against Oklahoma State. They lead the nation in takeaways. Plus Oklahoma State, they've had an extra bye week to get ready for this game.
3rd down and goal coming for South Florida. They have spread the field. B.J. Daniels firing the fade. Sterling Griffin's way out of bounds. 4th and goal.
Receiver has to stay in bounds on that. He cannot run out of bounds because if it doesn't catch the football, he gets a chance at least at pass interference.
Well, and you can't give yourself away so early. I mean, there's Sterling Griffin, didn't even attack the inside of the defender to buy himself space outside. He just kind of relegated himself to the sidelines. You have to have awareness of where you are in the field. I got to be honest, I hate that play call outside. They haven't come down with one yet tonight.
Maikon Bonani will try to salvage the drive. The 20-yard field goal attempt would bring the Bulls within 7. Bonani puts it up and through. Maybe didn't handle the series right on the doorstep after the pass interference call with the greatest of efficiency, but South Florida does get 3 out of it. And it's 20-13 right now, West Virginia and South Florida. Just a reminder, in case you happen to just be joining us, here's the situation for the BCS bid out of the Big East. West Virginia can only win it with a 3-way tie for the championship among the 3 teams you see on the screen, West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Louisville. West Virginia would be the highest-ranked BCS team, one would assume, because they are now. Louisville just needs Cincinnati to lose. Cincinnati needs a win and a West Virginia loss tonight, so Butch Jones and the Bearcats are rooting for South Florida. Bulls, on the other hand, they need to win in order to become bowl eligible in what has been a season filled with close losses. They've got another close game with 1:42 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
It's a league full of parity, isn't it? Ever since 2005, when this league went to 8 teams, teams just seem to beat up on one another. It was only West Virginia in 2005 and Cincinnati in 2009 that went through conference play unscathed. We see this each and every year. There is tremendous parity inside the Big East.
I tell you what, the Big East needed West Virginia to stay on course and not have a couple of hiccups along the way, to have a highly ranked team, to keep the perception of the conference stronger.
Tavon Austin, who returned the last kickoff for a touchdown. This time is stopped at the 25-yard line, and with 95 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, we check in with Wendy Nix.
Reese, thank you. SportsCenter right now brought to you by Coors Light. Chris Paul's agent has apparently told New Orleans officials his client will not sign a contract extension and wants to be traded to the New York Knicks. Agents and teams are now free to talk. And Texas A&M makes it official on Thursday. They have fired head coach Mike Sherman. Sherman was 25-25 during his 4-year tenure. Reese?
All right, Wendy, and Mike Sherman out as Texas A&M prepares to leave the Big 12. West Virginia headed to the Big 12. As big number 12 completes a pass out to J.D. Woods. Now, when West Virginia will leave the Big East is still, well, that's being decided in the legal system. Both West Virginia and the Big East have filed suits. They have also filed other suits asking that the other one's lawsuit be thrown out. West Virginia wants to leave in time to play football in the Big 12 next season, and the Big East is trying to enforce a 27-month waiting period. We just saw the ineffective offense by the Mountaineers in the second half. 7 plays, 2 turnovers. Geno Smith fired it into a crowd. Sean Alston made the catch. We check in with Jen Brown.
Well, guys, if you remember, Dana Holgorsen in his meeting said Geno Smith is still learning his offense. Well, several times tonight, Holgorsen's come over to Smith on the sidelines questioning some of the decisions he's made on the field. Now, this last time he came over must have struck a chord because Geno stormed off. He paced up and down the sidelines, did not have a good look on his face, but we'll see how this message was received. Over here on the sidelines, it wasn't received well.
Competitive fires going from Geno Smith as he fires into Tavon Austin. Austin is hit by Lattimore. after a short game.
Well, Daniel Holgorsen is one of the youngest, brightest, most innovative offensive minds in all of college football. That's why he was hired by Oliver Luck here at West Virginia, originally to be the head coach in waiting. He's running the show now. Geno Smith is going to have a fantastic season next year. Needs another offseason under his belt. But you see that maturation. It's a process, and the only way to get better is with time to play in games.
And Smith's going to let the clock expire here in the third quarter, and West Virginia up by 7, trying to hold the lead when you come back for the fourth. Welcome back to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream of defeating cancer. West Virginia on top of South Florida as we open the fourth quarter, 20-13. The Mountaineers have the lead in search of a share of the Big East title while the Bulls are trying to win their 6th game and a disappointing second half of the season and become bowl eligible. Third and 5 for Geno Smith. Pressure coming. The long pass toward Tavon Austin. Austin wanted a flag. None are forthcoming. Jacquez Jenkins on the coverage. It'll be 4th down.
Now this was balanced coverage on either side of the field. 3-on-2 to the right, 3-on-2 to the left. And it's a nice job of the secondary not giving an option for Geno Smith. I thought the middle of the field pre-snap, Jesse, was where the ball was going to go.
You know, Mark Snyder loves Jacquez Jenkins. Young sophomore corner, says he's going to be his free safety next year. Very headsy player. They weren't sure if they could match up with these wide receivers in man-to-man situations tonight. So far, they've held their own weight.
Corey Smith to punt it away. Good protection. Smith rolls it toward Evan Landy, and Landy, good pickup and nifty moves to save a few yards in field position as he's knocked down at the 24. South Florida has been down this road several times this season. Close games right at the end against Cincinnati on October 22nd. Zach Collaros, with 12 seconds remaining, scored the winning touchdown. Against Rutgers, B.J. Daniels kicked off in overtime. Rutgers kicked the field goal to win it by 3. This was after South Florida missed a very short field goal that would have won it in regulation. Jake Wyclaw of Miami, a 36-yard field goal as time expired. That made Miami bowl eligible. South Florida is trying to get there. Of course, the Hurricanes not going to the postseason this year as Victor Mark makes the quick catch. Miami deciding in a bit of a preemptive strike to go ahead and not take a bowl bid this year in light of the NCAA investigation.
And they extended Al Golden, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Al's done a nice job down there.
And he has, sort of ending some of the speculation about Al Golden's future on a 2nd and 1 play. And give to Murray on the inside as he picks up the first down. And much like Al Golden, Skip Holtz also a commodity that has been talked about in some circles and being a viable candidate for some of the openings around the country. South Florida working very hard to tie up Holtz and make him the head coach here in Tampa for a long time.
I think North Carolina is where a lot of folks have rumored that there would be interest, and you could understand that.
Daniels throwing into traffic. It's knocked down by Ian Smith. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
We've seen a lot of drop passes tonight from USF wide receivers. How many dropped interceptions have we seen tonight from West Virginia's secondary? This is a bad decision by B.J. Daniels, trying to fit the corner throw in. Throws it a little bit behind Victor Mark. That's a play Ian Smith has to make.
I think the throw needs to go underneath. You know, pick up your 6 or 7 yards and go to 2nd and 3.
Instead, it's 2nd and 10. Daniels has it batted down. Julian Miller, who left the game earlier with an ankle injury. Ankle good enough to let him get up and knock it down and make it 3rd and 10 for the Bulls.
Left tackle Mark Popek getting up very gingerly here after that play. Again, he's been isolated tonight on Julian Miller, on Bruce Irvin, all the best pass rushers from West Virginia. Now a true freshman, Darrell Williams, checks in at left tackle See how Julian Miller, the sack master right now, with 4 sacks last week against Pittsburgh, he can get upfield.
Roll away from him. Move.
3rd and 10. Miller came to the inside where there was help on him. Landy catches it, and Landy gets upfield and makes the first down. We've seen some excellent runs after the catch by a couple of South Florida's receivers tonight. And Skip Holtz' dad always says, teams don't beat you throwing and catching. They beat you by running after they catch you.
And Landy now has made several nice plays in this ball game of picking up his quarterback and his offense, extending a series for them. And that getting away from the left side. That was a really nice job of Darrell Williams stepping in the clutch.
Draw. Short game. Najee Good there to stop Murray.
Let's not discount how big a game this is for USF trying to reach a bowl game. They need the extra 15 practices moving forward. We've talked about how young of a team they are. That extra bowl practice allows them to develop leadership. It allows them to develop playmakers.
Daniels threw it behind Murray. It'll be 3rd and 7.
And you know, if Skip Holtz were to leave, those extra 15 days for a new coach would be really important. And so, and I know there's a lot of speculation going on, but I mean, there's a ton of movement going on with the coaching ranks right now.
I think they got South Florida for an illegal shift, so it'll be a 5-yard penalty.
You see B.J. Daniels again picking his team up. Another example of his improved leadership right now, understanding what's on the line. Critical juncture of this game in the 4th quarter.
Let me ask you this: Would you have taken that penalty? Would make it 3rd and 7 had they not instead of 2nd and 12?
I know offensively, I like the opportunity of having a 2nd down to go for it instead of 3rd and 7.
And now West Virginia's used its 2nd timeout of the 2nd half. 2nd and 12 coming when you come back.
Beauty, huh? It's dependable, long-lasting too.
Yeah, I could really use this Silverado. I'm a big hunter.
Oh, what do you hunt?
Deer, fish.
Fantastic.
This holiday, Chevy's giving more. Now qualified buyers can get 0% APR for 72 months on the 2011 Chevy Silverado. Or 0% APR financing for 60 months plus no monthly payments until spring.
Find a little nightlife. Ybor City in Tampa. A saxophone being played. I'm sure donations are welcome here at Raymond James Stadium. South Florida looking at a 3rd and 7. West Virginia got the clock stopped, and they did indeed want. And see, Jeff Castile is furious right now with his defense as they use their 3rd and final timeout of the 2nd half. I want to clean up what happened before. The officials indicated that the illegal procedure penalty had been accepted by West Virginia, which would have made it a 2nd and 12 during the timeout. There was a conference, and they said no, we're declining the penalty. Made it 3rd and 7, and now coming out of the timeout, West Virginia uses another timeout.
We talked about missed opportunities on special teams in this game for West Virginia with penalties, but what about on defense? They had multiple opportunities tonight to try and capitalize on takeaways. It was a big issue they had heading into tonight, not being able to generate that many, only 17 coming in. They did have the pick 6 early, but they could have had a lot more in this game.
Kind of reminiscent of last Thursday's Turkey Day Bowl game. Almost picks of my balls.
Leading to injuries in the booth. To the face.
Stuck my for B.J. Daniels. Against the blitz, he fires it to the freshman Davis, who makes the grab, and the chains are moved.
Yeah, now we've seen Davis now with back-to-back big-time plays. This guy's starting to step up, the true freshman. He's got good hands. The coaching staff says he's got a vertical game to him, but right now working underneath.
You have to win your one-on-one opportunities at wide receiver, and that's the privilege you get as the boundary wide receiver, that split end position. When you're put one-on-one against the opposing team's best cornerback, you got all that space, you got to win.
At the 37 of West Virginia. They show blitz. Daniels taking a shot. He's got a man wide open for a moment until Smith came over and closed the gap. He hung it up there for a while. Deontay Welch was by himself for a moment, and Smith recovered nicely.
B.J. Daniels needed to dial up the fastball on this throw. You're going to see outside here on the wheel route. Deontay Welch, he's open right now. But that throw has to be on a line, on the back shoulder, to allow his wide receiver to make that catch.
Well, and add one more to your reel of missed opportunities there. Couldn't come down with the interception, and that's one of those chances that Ian Smith wishes he had again.
2nd down and 10. Daniels firing quickly. Welch has it inside the 20. Another 1st down for the Bulls.
Now remember, earlier in this game, Welch stopped on an in route and didn't keep going. This time he did. He stayed on the in course there, and the ball delivered on time.
Again, an example of good yards after the catch for Welch. Being strong, fighting for positive yardage. Look at the second half 1st downs in this game. It's been completely one-sided. USF has been able to sustain drives. Now knocking inside the red zone.
2 turnovers have hurt West Virginia. Daniels can't find anybody. Now BJ wants to just throw it away, and he does. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Smart play by B.J. Daniels. In the past, his biggest, I think, appointment with B.J. Daniels, the Achilles heel, was that he felt like he could always make the big play. You mentioned 22 interceptions coming into this season. But this year, he's been doing a much better job taking care of the football, being smart, particularly down here in the red zone where you cannot afford an interception.
Back to the ground. Murray inside the 10. Carrying Smith with him. He has the 1st down. It's 1st and goal for USF.
I like the call here by Todd Fitch. He goes 4 wide. Single back. It opens up that West Virginia defense, and it's single blocking up front by the offensive line, and then a good job by Murray of running.
And we have a Mountaineer player down. South Florida, a little confusion again with their personnel packages, but not the right players on the field. And we'll see who that is down. That's number 24. It's Ian Smith, the senior from Miramar, Florida. Smith, who was the one who broke up that wheel route just a moment ago. And it looks as if he's cramping. You don't want to be too speculative, but they're pushing that foot back, and it appears to be a cramp.
So here Ian Smith just making a tackle, going up high. Powell's going to kind of fall back on him.
Now, remember the last time that the Bulls got down here in the red zone, they were ineffective. Right. They tried a bunch of fades and this and that, and they had nothing. 1st and goal here this time. They better start trying to, I'd try to pound it up in there with Murray.
Would I be out of line to say that bad shoulder and all, this is the opportunity where if B.J. Daniels gets to the corner, this is when you take one for the team, put your foot in the ground, and try to get it in?
No doubt.
To the right side, though, so that he can drop his left shoulder and protect himself and deliver a blow.
I'm not so sure they don't put the onus on this offensive line. You look up front, Jeremiah Warren at left guard, 330 pounds. Take a couple cracks at it. Again, I like the thought with the mobile quarterback in this area of the field, spreading it out. One thing they did not do on that last drive.
Don't go wishbone.
Advantage.
Don't go 3 backs.
No.
Go 4 wide, spread them out, make them defend the whole field.
And by the way, the left tackle, Mark Popak, has returned. He left the game hobbling a few moments ago, was replaced by a freshman, but now they have the veteran, the guy who brings their toughness to the offensive line. And the Bulls have a 1st and goal as we go inside, 11 and a half to play. Demetrius Murray's the running back. Murray has it. He's running on that left side, and he's pushing toward the goal line. He'll be stopped just short, 2nd and goal.
It's the biggest side of South Florida's offensive line behind left guard Jeremiah Warren. It's where the most experience is.
They're snapping it quickly. They give it back to Murray. Murray appears to have broken the plane, but maybe not. Officials are saying no.
Again, you got 4 downs. Take your time. Make sure you got your offensive lineman set. Get up there. And even if you run the same play, let them bull themselves into the end zone. Get big and strong up front. See, your left guard and your left tackle and your tight end didn't even come off on the count. And that's because you're up there hurrying and doing a herky-jerky. I don't like that.
Well, Ricky Kovac, the fullback, has just checked in. Big personnel. Here's that T formation we've seen.
That ball was very close to the plane, but going to be moved after they snap the ball, and the whole pile goes into the end zone, and B.J. Daniels on the sneak. They're making sure he still has the ball, and if he does, they'll signal touchdown. I believe they do. A 15-play, 76-yard drive for Skip Holtz's team in South Florida. If Bonani can make the extra point, we'll pull even. They've been the dominant team in the second half. Bonani hasn't missed an extra point this season. And he still hasn't. We are tied. 10 minutes, 1 second to play. The Bulls playing for bowl eligibility. The Mountaineers playing for a share of the Big East title. 10 minutes to decide it. We're all even at 20.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is served by Applebee's new sizzling entrees. Fresh flavor never sounded so good. And in part by Chevrolet. Go to ESPN.com/Chevrolet and play virtual Saturday selections.
This is a beautiful area of the country. The Tampa Bay beaches, group of 10 barrier islands. Great setting. South Florida football program in existence since the late 90s, trying to go to a bowl game for the 7th straight year, and they have pulled even with West Virginia. So many close games have gone against Skip Holtz's team this year after a very promising start. 4-0 start, the victory at Notre Dame to open the season. The Bulls trying to finish it off by knocking West Virginia out of a share of the Big East title. Tavon Austin will not get an opportunity. This time it'll be Devon Brown. And Brown is knocked down as he crosses at 25. And we go back to the studio and Wendy Nix.
Reese, thank you. Just a reminder, on ESPN2 as we speak, it's college hoops, the alma mater of one Reese Davis. Alabama facing Georgetown. Levi Randolph and Tony Mitchell with the putback jam. Reese.
All right, Wendy. A good game in the SEC Big East Challenge in Tuscaloosa between the Hoyas and the Crimson Tide. And we've got a barn burner here at Raymond James Stadium. 20-20. Geno Smith and company largely ineffective in the second half. Oh, it's picked off and going the other way. Touchdown, South Florida. It's Jacquez Jenkins. You think Jenkins had been coached up? He knew that one was coming. His second interception of the year, the sophomore from nearby St. Petersburg. And Dana Holgerson's team has seen its lead vanish. Well, you might have heard some cheering here in Tampa. They're cheering in Cincinnati, too. The Bearcats need a West Virginia loss, and they'll have an opportunity with a victory to go to the BCS.
Number 18, 5-yard penalty. will replay the try.
Let's take another look at the pick six by Jenkins.
Mark Snyder said he was going to do something different tonight. He rushes 3 and dropped 8 into coverage, and there was one extra body back there Smith did not account for.
Jacquez Jenkins read that the entire way. He saw the wide receiver outside bubble back and attacked the football all the way into the end zone.
Jenkins, as Jesse mentioned earlier, a guy that Snyder believes is going to be a star here. Made a star-worthy play with that one. Had vision on it, broke on it, and took it to the house. A 24-yard interception, 13 points off 3 Mountaineer turnovers. Gino tried to look him off. Jenkins was having none of it. The sophomore scores it, and the Bulls of Skip Holtz have taken a 27-20 lead. South Florida's just taken a 27-20 lead on a pick six by Jacquez Jenkins.
Jacquez Jenkins doing a great job of route recognition. You'll see him circled looking outside. As soon as he sees Tavon Austin go and block, he knows the screen is coming. Geno Smith looked right. When he came back to try and find Stedman Bailey, he had never located the defender. He did not throw that football blind, but it turns out now the 3rd turnover in 11 offensive plays here in the second half for West Virginia. Wow.
A stunning meltdown, and what a great job by Mark Snyder, the defensive coordinator at South Florida. Told you he's familiar with Dana Holgorsen. Holgorsen, of course, used to be the offensive coordinator at Houston while Snyder was the head coach at Marshall. The kickoff going to Brown. And Brown, who had a cost here in the half, is run out of bounds, and it has been a lot of miscues for the Mountaineers.
Well, the 3 that you mentioned there are something. This one here was really the turning point of the football game. As the Mountaineers were going in to score the turnover, South Florida went down, kicked the field goal. Then they battled and took it away from them. You just saw the one here that resulted in 7. So this South Florida defense, this entire football game, has kept their ball club in it to the point now they've taken the lead.
Turnovers have not been a strong suit for the Mountaineers this year. -2 in this game, now -3 for the season. -7 on the scoreboard. Pressure coming on Geno Smith. Knocked down. It'll be 2nd and 10, and South Florida's defense is feeling it. Sam Barrington making the play.
This defense is now getting comfortable with the rhythm of West Virginia, and these defensive linemen and linebackers understand that West Virginia's only success for the majority of this game has come over the middle in shallow routes. Defenders now doing a good job getting their hands up, anticipating these throws.
2nd down and 10. Smith firing deep to the outside, and a fine catch by J.D. Woods. Marking very close to the 1st down.
I go back to last year, the Marshall game. West Virginia was down big time, and Geno Smith came out and pulled them out of the fire and won that ball game. That night, I remember watching Geno Smith saying, "You are never out of the game as long as Geno Smith is throwing the football. He's accurate and he's competitive."
3rd down, a very short one. Mountaineers still in the shotgun. Converted just 2 times in 11 3rd down attempts. And they'll throw for it on 3rd and a couple feet. Geno taking a shot. Woods is out there, and he can't hold it. And clearly, by taking that shot on 3rd and 2 feet, I gotta believe they're going to go for it on 4th down, and I don't see the punting team coming.
It's a risk Dana Holgorsen at this point willing to take, and that is a giant risk. Sean Alston entering the game. We know what to expect. This should be a run.
South Florida's defensive line has had the better of this matchup in the 2nd half. But only half yard to go at most. Big play in this game. Smith fires, 1st down. Stedman Bailey making the catch out to the 40-yard line. Kayvon Webster on the stop.
This is nothing more than a toss sweep. This is pitch and catch. And Bailey pushes off the corner and does a nice job of turning around expecting the ball.
But why is Kayvon Webster giving him so much cushion on 4th and inches? Press him, get up in his face, and contest the throw.
Maybe give your defensive line a chance to get to Smith. They don't get to him again. Tavon Austin catches it, but he'll actually lose yardage. Jenkins was the first guy there. He just had the pick six. It'll be second down and long. As we head inside 8.5 minutes, here's what's at stake for both teams. Mountaineers have to have a win to get a share of the Big East and potentially a BCS berth. The Bulls looking for their 7th straight bowl appearance. Quick pass to Austin. Flag coming in the middle of the field. Austin says it'll be 3rd and long. Penalty pending. It was thrown back and holding.
Tripping. Offense. Number 76. 15-yard penalty. 4th down.
It was thrown in the holding area, but they got the rare tripping call on Joe Madsen.
Mark Snyder defensively now going to contest all throws outside. That last snap, he pressed the outside wide receivers with safety help behind them.
We have not seen a big explosive play out of West Virginia. I mean, this offense came in here averaging over 6.4 yards per snap. I mean, this is a very high potent offense. Mark Snyder's defense kept everything in front of them, and most importantly, they've made tackles one-on-one in open space.
They're going to need explosive plays now. The 15-yard penalty has them 27 yards away from a first down. Try to get some of it back on second with Garrison, who gets back up to the 35-yard line. That'll leave him about 16 yards short of first down.
Remember, West Virginia has used all of their timeouts in this half. If South Florida can force a punt and get the football back, they have an opportunity to bleed a lot of clock.
Expect a 3-man rush and dropping a lot of folks.
West Virginia has been abysmal on 3rd down tonight. 9 in coverage, only 2 rushing, so Smith has all kinds of time. He completes the pass to Bailey, but well short of the first down, and there is another flag down.
May have been a punch thrown there.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense. Number 97. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
That is a costly penalty against Ryan Giddens.
Yeah, you know what? This is frustration. You know, this is a blow to the head. That's a senseless play by an athlete losing his composure. You've got a 3rd and a busload. You've got 9 in coverage. There's no way they're going to convert.
It's only a sophomore. Another example of a young player making a crucial mistake. And it's happened to this football team all season long. The lack of seniority and the lack of leadership has been a giant problem for USF.
That mistake can't be made by a player of any age.
No.
You know, you can't.
But composure. I mean, just composure.
Yeah, no question.
So West Virginia's been given an opportunity. Can they do something with it?
Terrible play by Giddens gives West Virginia a first down at the 40. Geno Smith feeling some pressure from Barrington. Geno runs away with it, and he'll pick up some good yardage and dance out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Such an advantage in Dana Holgerson's offense to have a quarterback that can keep plays alive. I think back to 2009 with Case Keenum, something he did an outstanding job when he was at Houston playing for Dana Holgerson. Oklahoma State didn't really have that element with Brandon Weeden, but Geno Smith here coming up with big plays with his legs.
Can't believe you would question Brandon Weeden's foot speed.
Well, Brandon may even go along with him on that.
2nd and 2 for Geno Smith. He fires to the outside and grabbed nicely by Ivan McCartney. McCartney, the guy who's tailed off a little bit in the latter stages of the season, but he makes a huge catch.
Okay, so because Geno Smith was able to run and have some effectiveness, that changed Snyder's call. He brought 4 and 5 that time, making sure he can contain and keep Smith in the pocket.
He's going to have players spying Geno Smith here at this area of the field.
West Virginia with a 1st and 10. It's been a disastrous second half for the Mountaineers with 3 turnovers. It's cost them the lead.
Comes a run.
South Florida in the neutral zone. Garrison's in the secondary. Garrison inside the 20. Is wrestled down by Jarrell Young, who was trying to strip the ball away late.
Number 94. Penalties decline. Was over the play. First down.
Geno Smith doing a good job right here. They're using just a silent count. And again, just another mistake up front by Juju Forte on the outside.
West Virginia's had trouble in the red zone tonight, particularly from this area. It's 1st and goal. Garrison has it. Garrison, no trouble into the end zone, and West Virginia answers. And an extra point away from another tie.
Remember, at one point on this drive, it was 2nd and 27 for West Virginia. They're able to take advantage of mistakes by USF, and the true freshman Dustin Garrison almost untouched going into the end zone.
Tyler Rader, Joe Madsen did a fantastic job of combo blocking coming off so that no one was free to hit the ball carrier Garrison.
Bittencourt puts through the extra point to tie it, and to Jesse's point, if not for that personal foul penalty, the hands to the face by Ryan Giddens, the Bulls had forced a 4th down. The Mountaineers were probably going to try to go for it. There was the punch. Here's the result. Dustin Garrison hoping to lift West Virginia to a BC. The ACC Championship game coming your way Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Virginia Tech and Clemson. The Hokies trying to avenge their only loss. Clemson has stepped into the proverbial empty elevator shaft of late, but they can make things a lot better. They can somehow figure out a way to beat the Hokies again, stop their slide. They've lost 3 of their last 4 since starting the season 8-0. Virginia Tech trying to win its 5th ACC championship in 8 years in the league. West Virginia trying to win a share of the Big East and what the Mountaineers plan to be their final year in the Big East. They're tied with South Florida at 27. Just over 5 minutes to go. Lindsey Lamar has it. Lamar gives him a little dead leg, and now his legs are live. They're waving him down the sidelines. Lamar with a tremendous return, knocked down by Corey Smith, the kicker. And the Bulls are set up in excellent field position with the explosive play from number 5.
Special teams have been the Achilles heel for South Florida all game long. In the kicking game, allowing a long kickoff return touchdown. Now Lindsey Lamar again. Last year's Big East Special Teams Player of the Year, making an impact play, giving the football back to B.J. Daniels, almost at the 40-yard line of the opposition here with about 5 minutes to go.
Lamar used that right stick to give him a little juke and turned on the speed.
Dead and then brought it alive.
It's the R1 button in PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
53 yards on the return. South Florida will start it on the ground with Demetrius Murray. For just joining us, Darrell Scott, lead back for the Bulls, left with a shoulder injury. Demetrius Murray and Marcus Shaw have been carrying the load. B.J. Daniels has thrown it 43 times tonight for more than 200 yards. And it was a defensive touchdown that gave the Bulls the lead, and then West Virginia answered to score and tied at 27.
And remember, now coming into this ball game, we didn't even know if B.J. Daniels would play. He had the bruised shoulder, the AC joint there. So, I mean, for him, he stepped up and throwing it with a lot of accuracy.
44 throws complete to Victor Mark. Mark spins down to the 35-yard line. He'll be 4 yards short of the first down.
In the second half, we've seen young wide receivers start stepping up and making plays. Andre Davis, Deontay Welsh, 2 freshmen. Here's a critical down and distance. 3rd and 4, the game on the line. There's going to be a contested throw somewhere here. Make a play.
2-down territory, though. They do not want to give this ball back. They're playing for a bold bid, for an opportunity to move and extend this season. So there's going to be 2 plays here. They're not going to punt the football back.
They're close to Mike Bonani's field goal range. He has a 49-yarder. He hit it against Notre Dame earlier this season. Daniels, a rare run. B.J. has the first down, and he'll slide down to protect that shoulder. New set of downs as the clock winds down toward 3.5 to go.
Showing you intelligence and game management again. By not running out of bounds, he keeps the game clock running right now. Protecting himself, yes, but also ensuring that the final possession might be USF's here at the end of this game.
And Todd Fitch, the offensive coordinator, should not put that play right there away on this series. keep it in his back pocket, pull it out here another couple of plays to see if West Virginia will stay outside and contain him.
B.J. Daniels will bleed the play clock all the way down to the last possible second.
On 1st and 10, Daniels run it again. Now Daniels fumbled the football. In West Virginia, I believe they have it. They do. Najee Good stripped it away from Daniels, who didn't have the thing put away, and a turnover this time against South Florida. Doug Rigg with the recovery.
Najee Good is the undisputed leader of this football team. And for him to step up and strip this football is symbolic of the fight of these Mountaineers. Ball just gets a little away from the pocket. He didn't have it high and tight and tucked over there.
B.J. Daniels, all game job of securing the football, not trying to do too much with that injured shoulder. You see right here, 3 points of pressure needed. You cannot try and swim a defender with the football in the same hand. And now Geno Smith, without any timeouts, can he orchestrate in a 2-minute situation, put his team in field goal range for a potential win and a potential BCS berth.
3-man look up front. South Florida going to drop back in coverage, keep everything in front of them, inviting the run.
And they get it. Dustin Garrison. Garrison who scored the touchdown. And there's a flag down. South Florida perhaps got caught jumping.
Dustin Garrison. Tackle on the play, number 41, Patrick Hampton.
Jeff McConaughey is wanting to know if the result of the play is a first down.
How composed Dana Holgorsen is there on the sidelines here at this play column.
Offside. Defense. Number 94. Penalties decline. 2nd down. Please reset the game clock to 2:54. 2:54 on the game clock.
I'm always so amazed with head coaches that can call plays on offense from the field. You just have to have a feel for the game. Guys like Steve Spurrier at South Carolina, Paul Johnson, Georgia Tech, Chip Kelly at Oregon. Dana Holgorsen, one of those guys, just has a feel for it.
Paul Johnson, another one of those. Field, how he sees it and calls it.
Sending some heat this time. Smith fires to Woods. 1st down, West Virginia. Woods up across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Jacquez Jenkins on the stop.
But I think Dana's a whole lot like Paul Johnson. They're more concerned with themselves and their execution and what they're trying to accomplish. He knows the opportunities are there if his receivers run the right routes.
They'd have to get to the 28-yard line to match the season long for Tyler Bittencourt.
Clock running, no timeouts remaining for West Virginia. Garrison. A short gain on 1st down. And he's still going to move the pile. And finally, the whistle comes in.
You see, though, what's happening here. South Florida is showing a 3-man rush, a walk around, inviting the run, but their linebackers are quick with a foot in the ground to support against the run.
West Virginia's running game now coming to the rescue again late in games. It did against Pittsburgh last week in the backyard brawl, big win. They're running the football with success these last 2 drives.
Inside 2 minutes to go, a 2nd and 6.
Look at that soft bubble right there. 3-man, look at the linebackers.
It's 2 bubbles, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 bubbles.
Garrison has it. Garrison has the 1st down. He's inside the 45. Clock will stop long enough to move the chains with 1:36 to go.
You got to change it up if you're Mark Snyder now. Put at least one more body up front. Make it an even look for defensive linemen, because right now West Virginia carving away into those big bubble looks we keep seeing. They're going to line up with more bubbles again right here.
They're going to call a run.
Need 12 to 14 more yards to give Tyler Bittencourt a chance based on his career long of 45 yards. Geno Smith. Plenty of time, and now he runs out, and Smith takes a sack. Clock still running. Holgorsen wanting some urgency.
Critical mistake by Geno Smith. He knows better than that to take a sack on this play. The reason he takes the sack, it's a coverage sack. Fantastic coverage downfield. Quentin Washington on blanket outside.
Okay, now guys, clock still running. 2nd and 19. West Virginia trying desperately to get into field goal range. Only 2 rushing. A lot of guys in coverage. Clock still running. Smith fires complete. Bailey makes the catch, but the clock is going to continue to run. didn't get out of bounds. Third down coming.
Now they can rush 3 and drop again, but they've got to put pressure on this quarterback. Geno Smith, you can't cover a receiver that long.
3rd and 10. Pressure almost intercepted. It'll be 4th down with 13 seconds to go. There's a flag down on the play on the near side. The 22-yard line of the Bulls. West Virginia had a player eavesdropping. He applauded. This could be a costly penalty against the Bulls. Heath, the referee in the white hat, sorting it out with his crew. 13 seconds to go. West Virginia trying to get into field goal range. Perhaps kick a field goal that would give them a share of the Big East title and keep their hopes of making a BCS game alive. That's Tyler Bittenkurt, the kicker. He's been a clutch kicker. He's got tremendous technique. Maybe not the biggest leg in the world, but a couple of game-winning field goals in his career.
Geno Smith telling his offense right now, if they get another crack at this, get ready for a clock it situation. If they can muster up another completion to provide an opportunity for a game-winning field goal.
2009, Bittenkurt made one as time expired to beat Pittsburgh.
Legal substitution, defense. 5-yard penalty. We paid it down.
Well, I tell you what, that's really for Skip Holtz. He's sitting there thinking, it could have been, we're all thinking pass interference, something bigger than that.
Well, I saw the guy running off the field. I didn't see the flag respond initially. It appeared that he got close to the sideline. He was sprinting off.
Well, right now,
with the penalty,
they need to be concerned about getting to the line of scrimmage and getting ready to call time and get organized.
Use their final timeout.
Absolutely. The right call there.
They're going to... It looks as if there's going to be a review. All 22. We're going to see. You take a look at all 22 players on the field. Check the substitution pattern. Okay, here's the guy just outside the 35-yard line. And it's Mike June. It's Mike June trying to run off the field, number 35. You saw him in the lower right part of your screen. And sometimes officials, if you're close to the sideline and sprinting off, they'll give you a little latitude there. But he clearly was still on the field, it appeared to me, when the ball was snapped.
Geno Smith has 13 seconds here. They have no timeouts, and it's going to be a 3rd down. So they've got to get in there to that 25-yard line area. So that's the play they're looking for. They've been going outside. They have not thrown really anything to the middle of the field.
There's still enough time, if nothing's open downfield, for Geno Smith to take off running. Of course, if this play stands, and he needs to just get 5 yards before trying to clock it.
Well, he'll have to get down after getting the 1st down. Clock will stop to move the chains.
Yep.
Then you would have the opportunity to clock it and kick the field goal.
So a 5-second play, and I think clearly you can see it there coming off at the 37-yard line. Player was not off the field, but that's the deal. You get a quick play for a 1st down. Clock stops, get up there and clock it.
We've seen a lot of personnel problems for South Florida tonight. Having issues getting the right personnel on offense, having to burn timeouts because of that. Potentially a costly personnel problem here now on defense late in this game as well. And that's a reflection of the coaching staff. They have to be dialed in.
And a reflection of the season. That's the difference overall in the season. Just here and there, the little plays, the differences, the 3 really close losses that South Florida's had to endure.
South Florida lost in the waning seconds against Cincinnati. They lost in overtime against Rutgers. Lost on the final play on a field goal against Miami. And now West Virginia trying to break the Bulls' hearts one more time as this play is still under review. A chance for us to remind you about the Conference USA Championship game. Southern Mississippi and Larry Fedora, another hot coaching commodity for the Golden Eagles, taking on Houston and its own hot coaching commodity, Kevin Sumlin, and Case Keenum. If the Cougars can win this game and remain perfect, they will secure a spot in a BCS Bowl. Most believe that will be the Sugar Bowl. Watch BCS Countdown on Sunday night, 8:15 Eastern Time on ESPN to make sure. West Virginia hoping that it will get a spot in a BCS game as champions of the Big East, but they have to win this game tonight. Right now, they're tied with South Florida as the officials are reviewing the penalty called against USF. Here comes Jeff McConaughey with the call.
After further review, the 11th player was leaving the field. That's a legal play. Therefore, there is no substitution foul. The result of the play was an incomplete pass. The ball be placed at the 42-yard line. 4th down.
Woo, what a call.
So the guys upstairs do a good job and get it right. The same as the 11th player leaving the field. I have to go back and look again. Did they play that play with 10 guys? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. Well, a lot of folks interested in this game. You think Butch Jones and Cincinnati are watching this?
I think so, but now let's reset the situation here, guys. Now, because there was no penalty, it's 4th down rather than 3rd. They're at the 42-yard line. Got to get the 1st down. Also need to get inside the 35 to give Bittencourt a chance. Geno Smith firing. He's got his man, Stedman Bailey. 7 seconds to go. They'll have to clock it quickly. West Virginia in a mess. They get it clocked.
Chemistry so important between a quarterback and wide receiver. When you have to have a play, you go to the guy you trust the most. Geno Smith and Stedman Bailey have been playing football together for the last 6 years, dating back to Miramar High School. Are you kidding me?
What a grab on 4th down by Bailey, and now Bittencourt trying for his 3rd game-winning field goal in his career. It'll be from 33 yards out, and here's a flag.
Oh.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 5-yard penalty.
Inexcusable.
3-play 1st down.
It's inexcusable.
Well, I'll tell you what that does. That really takes away from the ability for this ball to hook and be wide left or right. And the mistakes, again, costing USF here late in this game, throughout the game.
Now from 28 yards, Bittencourt trying to give West Virginia a share of the Big East title.
Skip Holtz is going to ice him.
And Holtz uses his final timeout.
Timeout. South.
You know what? I had said, this was one of those deals to where throwing back to the middle of the field, Geno Smith, and you saw the move on the outside. Bailey made it look like he was going to be over there. They had it really bunched up on the sidelines. And what a throw back to the middle of the field to Bailey.
I remember Tyler Bittencourt earlier in this game in the 1st quarter had 10 yards that hit the right upright. This one a much shorter attempt. Ball is on the 11-yard line. The holder will put the ball down at the 18, making it a 28-yard attempt. He is on the left hash.
2 weeks in a row, boys, with walk-off kicks.
Texas had one. Let's see if West Virginia does. Bittencourt for the game, and it is good. Stedman Bailey getting some congratulations, and boy, does he deserve it. Cincinnati heartbroken as West Virginia stays alive for a BCS berth. The Mountaineers, with a Bearcat win over UConn on Saturday, will almost certainly go to a BCS game as the highest ranked team in the BCS from the Big East.
Give West Virginia a lot of credit. Time and time again this season, they found a way to come from behind, fight through adversity, and find a win. A tremendous game-ending drive engineered by Geno Smith. A big-time catch by Stedman Bailey, setting up this game-winning field goal by Tyler Bittencourt.
And for South Florida, the 3rd time this season they lose a game on the final play, and that doesn't include Zach Collaros scoring a touchdown with about 12 seconds to go to win. It's been that kind of year for South Florida, and it's a winning night for Geno Smith and the Mountaineers as we check in with Jen Brown, who has Dana Holgerson with her.
Thanks, Reese. Coach, you seem so calm over there on the sidelines, but what was going through your head as your offense drive the field there and made that game-winning field goal?
Well, there's really no time to think, and I'm just proud of these guys. This is the 3rd week in a row that it's came down to the last minute. And well, what this team's figured out is just to find a way to win. You know, for 3 weeks in a row, they've just found a way to win.
Well, finding a way to win tonight gives you a share of the Big East title. You said that was your goal coming into this season as your first head coaching role. What does this win mean?
It means a lot to the kids. It means a lot.
Get a little bat there.
Yeah, it's always fun. That's the first one of those, but.
Mine too.
It was our goal, you know, and the guys just kept playing. They kept playing the whole game, and I'm proud of them.
You're going to get 15 extra days with your team to set up what could possibly be for a BCS Bowl series, depending on the Saturday game with UConn and Cincinnati. What do you need to work on in those 15 days to get ready for that?
Well, offensively, we need to work on a lot, you know, and which we will, you know, and this is still relatively early in the process when it comes to this type of offense for these type of kids. But we'll keep working at it. There's a lot of things that we can work on, which we will.
All right, go enjoy yourself. Enjoy the win. Thanks, Coach Reese.
All right, Jen. So Dana Holgorsen now waits and hopes that Cincinnati can beat UConn. In that case, they would make their way to the BCS almost certainly. Our Wrangler 5-star player of the game is Dustin Garrison. Garrison only 88 yards rushing on the night, but 54 of those and a touchdown came on the last 2 drives. The game-tying touchdown drive and then the drive that led to the game-winning field goal. Dustin Garrison, our Wrangler 5-star player of the game. If indeed that is West Virginia's final game in the Big East, and that's still to be settled in the legal system, what a thriller it was for Geno Smith and the Mountaineers, 30-27 over South Florida. That's our final. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Craig James, Jesse Palmer, Jen Brown, and our entire fabulous crew, both in the truck and on the field, who've done such a wonderful job all season long, we're saying good night. West Virginia gets a share of the Big East, 30.